Alright, match 4 on the play yet again. And our hand is fine. It's a little bit slow with the Sen's Enlistment and no 1-drop, but we can still keep it. I'm going to play Secluded Step turn 1. This is not a hand that I want to cycle it in. Nettle Sentinel, okay, facing off against Elves. I'm going to go ahead and pass a turn here. Leave open the possibility of trading with this Nettle Sentinel. And also we could conceivably need the Fateful Hour trigger. So here's the question. Is getting an elf off the table good enough to make me want to trade here, even though I have pump spells? I think whether it's elves or Stompy, we're going to want to race, which means we need to keep our creatures around so we can kill them in one big Borrowed Grace turn. So I think I just have to let this hit us. It would be nice if we had led with a turn 1 life gain creature against Stompy. Alright, Safe Hold Elite. Yeah, it looks like it's not elves. Even though this is also an elf, this is not typical in elf lists. I don't really want to waste my Borrowed Grace so early on, so I think I'll just play Gather the Townsfolk and pass. Gonna let them hit us again. Need our tokens for winning. Elvish Vanguard. Oh wait, so this is an elf list? I'm not sure I've ever seen an elves list playing Safe Hold Elite. Usually if they play any 2-drop rando elf, it's Elvish Vanguard is the new hotness since it came out, and even Elvish Visionary would be played over this Persist creature. Since Elves doesn't really need Persist creatures because no one's going after their random 2/2 Persist elf, they're going after the important 1-drop mana rampers and such, and Elvish Vanguards before they grow. It might be more of a mid-range elf list, who knows. Alright, I'm going with Battle Screech here. Flash back my Battle Screech. Pass the turn. We just need 7 things to get in. So the 4 in the air get in, and I need 3 of my 4 tokens to get in. So they have to block at least 2 of them if they want to survive here. Or they'll need to gain life. Wirewood Herald comes in. Another card that's not typically played over an Elvish Visionary because it takes too long, but it can let you tutor instead of draw, so it has that going for it. Unfortunately, they play exactly 2 blockers for our next turn, and they probably will block twice. I could triple block this Elvish Vanguard, but I think that would be very bad, so I will not. Just take a huge amount of damage and hope that I draw another pump spell or that they don't block twice here. And then the other pump spell can't possibly be the 3-drop one because I can't afford it. It needs to be the Hermosian Rally, which I only have 2 of in the deck. Okay, Gather the Townsfolk. That should be good enough. Alright, let's start off by attacking. And now they're going to have to block with 2, not to auto-lose, and then I get to chump block twice, and we only take 3 damage. Even if they have like a Rancor, which I wouldn't expect from an elf list, but even then they shouldn't have enough burst damage. Okay. Take them to 2 or 3? Here, what is it? 2. They go get to search for an elf card, and they get a 1/1. But we have lethal in the air, so they have to kill us this turn if they want to win. I'm not really sure, even if their deck contained every single common elf, that there is anything they could search for that would win them the game here. A lot of elves have tap abilities, which aren't going to be relevant for the first turn that they come down, so it's not going to be good enough. They go to get Nissa's Chosen. Wow, this is a very mid-rangey elf list. 2 mana, 2/3 with no abilities. I'm not really sure why you would play this mid-range version over the faster version of Elves with all the sweet 1-drops and with Distant Melody. I'm not sure what this is better against. I guess the persist creatures in Nissa's Chosens are better against board wipe effects if there's a lot of them. Block here, that means we take 5, but I might as well block one more time just in case they have a pump spell. I guess Vines of Vastwood is still going to kill us here. It's a pump of 4. Groundswell will still kill us here, assuming they made landfall, which I think they did. But this is a mid-range elf list with pump spells that I guess we're going to lose. Let's find out. Nope, they conceded. Okay. Get to sideboard. I guess one thing is true. This is an elf list that doesn't just die to Holy Light. Normally this would be a very good card, but they don't appear to be playing very many of the 1-drops that this kills. So I'm not going to bring it in. Sundering Growth doesn't do anything. Lumithread Field doesn't do anything, and I'm going to take out the one that I have. Could take Journey to Nowhere for the Persist Elves and such, but mostly they're all interchangeable, and I'd rather just attack around them. I guess Elvish Vanguard is one that can get out of hand pretty quickly. Soul's Attendant is good for racing. I want to bring those in for sure. Probably not the Journeys. If we had seen the elf that pumps power and toughness for each elf on the battlefield, Journey would be more important for getting rid of that. Sense Enlistment is definitely too slow. And I'll cut one of the triplicates as well. Actually, I don't need to cut one of the triplicates, do I? We are already at 60. And we'll submit like this. Alright. Double life gain creature, which is great. And even though this is a 6-drop, it's not really a 6-drop. So I think I'm going to keep this hand. We only need one more land to make it really good. Just life gain for days, get to dump the board. Dump our creatures onto the board. And then we have a pump spell. Alright, there's an Elvish Mystic. That means they're going to have a lot faster game than they did the first time. Hopefully not too fast. Well-Wisher. Alright, so they're going to be able to raise us in life as well. That is definitely a reason to have a Journey to Nowhere. Definitely going to offer this trade here. Their Well-Wisher can get a lot more out of hand than the Soul Warden can. Elvish Vanguard. Alright, well, I don't think we're going to be able to beat this curve. This Elvish Vanguard is going to get arbitrarily large. This Well-Wisher is going to gain 4, 5, 6 life every turn. And we didn't draw our land either. Go ahead and offer this trade that they should not take. And they don't. Elvish Warrior. It's like a Nissa's Chosen, but with no upside. Or no downside, depending on whether or not you want it to go into the graveyard. I am just going to trade a Selfless Vanguard and a Remosian Rally, because this Elvish Vanguard is going to get out of control otherwise. Also takes an elf off the battlefield, which makes Well-Wisher worse. We do draw a land. We can play Raise or Gather. Can't attack here though because of the Vanguard blocking our Soul Wardens. I'll save the Gather for now and just play Raise. Viridian Longbow. Okay. Well, this is bad. They're not equipping it yet though. That would be a reason to leave in our Lumithread Field for protection against that. Normally, though, it should be too slow against us. We should be able to win before it takes over, before they're able to play it and equip it, and then only start taking care of only one thing a turn. Well, we're at 34 life, but I don't think it's going to be enough life. Play a Gather, play a Triplicate. If we draw a pump spell next turn, we might be able to be okay. We might be able to raise this, but the Well-Wisher is really strong too. This is a hilarious match. Yeah, They gained 4 life a turn, and they kill one of our creatures a turn. And we're going to get our life gain stopped very soon because the Soul Warden's going to be dead. Come on, Battle Screech. Give me an untapped land. Give me a Plains. Nope, another Battle Screech. Well, that's roughly the worst possible draw we could have had. Attack in the air. And see if they have any follow-ups. Timberwatch Elf. Maybe that's what I needed to bring in my Journey to Nowheres for. Well, they're definitely all coming in now for the Timberwatch and the Well-Wisher. I guess I should have just assumed that they had the Timberwatch, but given how bizarre that their list is, I wasn't really willing to assume anything about what elves they did or did not have. Battle Screech, flash it back. Tapping my flying creatures because they're the ones I'm least likely to block with. $29 to $47, and 1 billion creatures on the battlefield. This is a hilarious game. I'd consider it a little bit less hilarious. More hilarious if I didn't have to deal with this Viridian Longbow. And if I don't want to take 8, 1, 2, 3, 7, 9 damage, then I have to chump block this. But actually, I'll just take the damage. I'd rather have all my creatures for top decking a pump spell and somehow winning that way. Nine flyers. If they hit for 3 apiece, that's 27. I could win in 2, maybe 3 attacks, depending. Battle Screech. Bash for 9. But they'll gain most of all of it back on their turn, so we're not really getting anywhere. I'm going to die to this double Timberwatch very soon. Pick off a flyer. They move over the Viridian Longbow to pick off another thing. And they attack. I will take any amount of damage if it means that I get to leave back my creatures for attacking. They go to 34, which means at 3 damage apiece I'd have to get 12 creatures in. And they can block enough to survive, I'm pretty sure. Triplicate Spirits, okay. Boop. As long as they're only removing 1 or 2 things a turn, and I'm playing 4 or 3 creatures a turn, I'm not falling behind in the number of creatures I have on the board, but I'm just barely doing more damage to them than they are getting life, so I really need to draw a pump spell before they manage to kill me with these Timberwatches. They're getting all these free untaps from the Nettle Sentinel, which is a combo with the Viridian Longbow by playing green spells. They're up to 32, which means we need 11 creatures to get through, which can absolutely happen because I have 11 creatures in the air. So it's just 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 18, 22 total damage they can hit me for. So I still won't block yet. They save one of the Timberwatches for some unknown reason. Pump spell and I win. No, it's a Plains. Alright, I don't have anything to retrace because I didn't draw it this game. And I think I actually have to leave a creature back now. Actually, let's see. I attack all of these. 1, 2, 3. That'll be 10 damage, take them to 22. Then they'll gain about 10, go to... Actually, you know, I think I need to just attack all out in the air, like usual. If they attack all out and they play more elves, they might have enough to force through with double Timberwatch activation and lethal. But I need to play around. I need to assume they're not going to draw any more elves. I need to assume they're just going to draw nothing, and they're not going to pick off anything with the Elf Sentinel, and they're not going to kill me this turn, and I actually am going to draw a +2/+2 pump spell. Or +2/+0. Bard Grace is fine, and Guardian's Pledge is fine. Alright, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 18 damage from Timberwatches. Technically, I only need to block 2 of these, right? 18 damage plus the 2 from here will take me to exactly 1. And I can save the rest. I could just chump block all of them too, but I'd rather save as many tokens as I can. Wirewood Pride. Okay. So it turns out I did have to block with all of these to survive this turn. Would I have drawn the pump spell I needed? Nope. Okay. Probably not relevant anyway. Alright, on to the next game. Alright, bringing into my Journey to Nowhere for the Well-Wishers and such. And what am I taking out? So I think Vermosian Rally is the weakest link here. I'd rather have the other pump spells to actually push through for lethal and not have to tap anything. And I'm going to cut a 1-drop as well, I believe. Let's take out one of the life gain things, and we will submit. Alright, on the play. Alright, this is a kind of an iffy hand. If they just draw like a mid-range hand like they did the first time, the first game, then this is going to be great because of all the life gain. But if they get the Viridian Longbow going pretty quickly, then I'm going to need a hand that's faster than this. Alright, to gain a life. Alright, there's our pump spell. And if we draw a land, that means we can play Triplicate Spirits. No point in attacking here. Definitely not going to double block. Life gain is too relevant, getting 2 life per creature, and having these 2 1/1s for the Borrowed Grace. And their turn 2 play is just a 2/2, thankfully. Alright, raise the alarm. Well, it's not a land, but at least it lets us cast Triplicate next turn. They are not going to offer the Nettle Sentinel trade with our represented Raise the Alarm. We probably would have taken that trade, I think. Although it does risk us not being able to cast Triplicate Spirit, so I'm not sure. But luckily they didn't attack, so we didn't even have to worry. Alright, there's a Timberwatch Elf, so hopefully we draw a Journey. Turn off auto yield so I can fix my Soul's Attendant to always yes. Always yes, always yield, always yield, always yield, always yield. There we go. Alright, we drew a land. We only have 5 creatures, so Borrowed Grace is not lethal. We could attack here, but then they'd probably only block with Nettle Sentinel, and we'd be wasting Borrowed Grace on a non-lethal. Attack. They can have Timberwatch Elf for a little bit. It's not too scary right now, since their creature count is not too high yet. Especially not with all the life we're gaining. We go all the way up to 41. 6 creatures in the air plus Borrowed Grace is 18 damage. Plus any other unblocked creature is 21 and lethal. Elvish Warrior, okay, down to 2 cards in hand. Only thing I really would have been scared of this turn is equipping the Viridian Longbow to the Nettle Sentinel, so they could start machine gunning down our flyers, but that does not look like what is happening. Can't double block here and trade because of the Timber Watch, so I'll just let it happen. They go ahead and cash in for the damage. Alright, so I could Borrowed Grace for lethal here if 7 things get in. So if they block only one thing, they lose. That means that if I cast Borrowed Grace and they block 2 things, say both the Soul's Attendant, then both these creatures will die. It'll take down their elf count for the Timber Watch. We'll get in with 18 and have lethal in the air for next turn. So I think that's the correct time to play Borrowed Grace, even though Triplicate Spirits would also be a very strong play, since it would gain us 9 life. And give us assured lethal in the air with the next Borrowed Grace, but killing 2 of their creatures, taking them to 2, getting lethal in the air next turn is a little bit better. And they concede. Well, despite them not being a typical elf deck, they still almost beat us, but luckily we were able to overcome with better draws in the end. Alright, on to the next one.